Welcome to Timeless Memories. I'm Sarah. This channel is a special place where we honour remarkable lives that continue to be remembered with love and admiration. Here we reflect on unforgettable figures from film, music, television and culture, celebrating their journey, their impact and the legacy they left behind. Every tribute we share keeps their memory alive and forever meaningful. Bobby Brown has endured profound personal loss throughout his life, much of it tied to struggles that affected those closest to him. Despite his success in music, his journey has also been marked by grief that has shaped him as a person and a father. In 2012, he lost his former wife, Whitney Houston, a moment that deeply impacted him and the world. Just a few years later, their daughter Bobby Christina Brown passed away at the young age of 22. Her loss was especially painful, leaving a void that Brown has openly spoken about, sharing that the pain never truly fades. Tragedy continued to follow when Bobby Christina's former partner, Nick Gordon, also passed away at age 30. These losses formed a heartbreaking chapter in Brown's life, one that tested his resilience. In 2020, Brown faced another devastating moment when his son, Bobby Brown Jr., died at just 28 years old. Known for his passion for music, Bobby Jr. had been building his own path, sharing his creativity and connecting with fans online. His passing left the family shattered, with Brown expressing that no parent is ever prepared for such loss. Through it all, Bobby Brown has been candid about his own past struggles and how he worked to overcome them. He has often spoken about the importance of growth, healing, and being present for his family. While the pain of losing loved ones remains, his story is also one of perseverance, continuing forward while carrying the memories of those he has lost. Few guitarists have left a mark on soul and R&B quite like Steve Cropper. Born on October 21, 1941, Cropper wasn't just a skilled musician, he was a quiet architect of a sound that would define an era. As a core member of Booker T and the MGs, he helped shape what came to be known as the Memphis sound. Warm, groove-driven, and unmistakably soulful. What made Cropper special wasn't flashy solos or technical showmanship. Instead, it was his restraint. His ability to play exactly what a song needed, no more, no less. His crisp, rhythmic guitar work became the backbone of countless classics, supporting legends and elevating songs into something timeless. Beyond performing, he also played a major role behind the scenes as a songwriter and producer, helping craft hits that still resonate today. There was a certain honesty in his playing. You could feel the intention in every note, the space between chords, the way his guitar seemed to talk rather than just fill sound. That subtlety became his signature and influenced generations of musicians who followed. Steve Cropper passed away at the age of 84. While the details surrounding his passing were kept private, his legacy speaks loudly. His work continues to live on in recordings that still feel fresh, emotional, and deeply human. In many ways, Cropper's story is a reminder that impact doesn't always come from being the loudest in the room. Sometimes it comes from knowing exactly when to step in and when to let the music breathe. Born on July 22, 1938, Terence Stamp built a career that quietly commanded attention without ever needing to shout for it. With his striking screen presence and unmistakable voice, he became one of those rare actors who could hold an audience still with just a look or a line delivered in his signature style. From the early days of British cinema to major international productions, Stamp moved effortlessly between roles, never confined to a single type or genre. He first captured widespread attention in the 1960s, quickly establishing himself as a serious talent with depth and charisma. Over the years, he worked with some of the most respected filmmakers and appeared in films that ranged from intimate dramas to large-scale Hollywood productions. Whether portraying complex villains, thoughtful outsiders, or quietly powerful figures, Stamp brought a sense of authenticity that made every performance feel lived in and real. What made him truly stand out wasn't just talent, it was consistency. Decade after decade, he remained relevant, respected, and admired by both audiences and peers. Younger generations discovered him in later roles, while longtime fans appreciated the evolution of his craft. He never seemed to chase fame, instead he focused on the work itself, letting his performances speak for him. Terence Stamp passed away at the age of 87, leaving behind a body of work that continues to resonate. His legacy isn't just in the films he made, but in the quiet confidence and artistry he brought to each role. Even now, his voice, his presence, and his performances remain unforgettable, timeless reminders of a truly distinctive actor. Timothy West, born on October 20th, 1934, was one of those rare performers whose presence brought both authority and warmth to every role he stepped into. Over the course of a long and distinguished career, he became a familiar and respected face across stage, film, and television, earning admiration from audiences and peers alike. West had a particular gift for classical theatre. His portrayal of kings and complex historical figures revealed not just technical mastery, but a deep emotional understanding of character. Among his many memorable performances, he was especially noted for taking on the role of King Edward III in the 1975 production of Edward III, bringing gravitas and nuance to the part. Even more remarkable was his connection to Shakespeare, having played King Lear 4 separate times, each performance reflecting new layers of insight and experience. Beyond the stage, West reached wider audiences through television, including his role in Brass, where his commanding yet approachable style made him instantly engaging. He had a unique ability to move seamlessly between grand, dramatic roles and more intimate, character-driven performances. What truly set Timothy West apart was his consistency. Decade after decade, he remained dedicated to his craft, never losing the passion that first brought him to the stage. His work carried a quiet confidence, never overstated, always deeply felt. He lived a full life, reaching the age of 90, leaving behind a body of work that continues to inspire actors and entertain audiences. Timothy West's legacy is not just in the roles he played, but in the integrity and dedication he brought to each one. A lasting reminder of what true artistry looks like.
Marie Osmond has been a fixture in American culture for over 5 decades. The world has known her as the smiling, graceful performer whose voice charmed millions, whose presence lit up stages, and whose persona seemed flawless. Yet beneath the public image of perfection lay a life shaped by pressures few could comprehend. From a childhood consumed by performance to the trials of marriage, motherhood, and personal loss, her journey was anything but easy. This is a story of survival, of resilience, and of a woman who endured what many could not. To understand Marie today, it is essential to look beyond the applause, beyond the dolls and sold-out shows, and examine the life she lived away from the cameras, a life of both achievement and suffering. Childhood in the spotlight. Born Olive Marie Osmond on October 13, 1959, in Ogden, Utah, Marie entered a family already deeply entrenched in the entertainment industry. Her older brothers, Alan, Wayne, Merrill, Jay, and Donnie, had been performing since the early 1960s, and their father, George Osmond, ran the family with strict discipline. From age 3, Marie was performing alongside them, her tiny voice harmonizing in perfect synchronization. Childhood was not hers to claim. It was a stage with strict rules, long rehearsals, and no room for error. Within the structure of their Mormon faith, women were expected to embody purity and devotion. Fame intensified these expectations. Every gesture, every smile, every word was scrutinized. Marie grew up under constant observation, learning early that her worth was tied to her ability to perform flawlessly in front of others. Teenage stardom and early success. By age 13, Marie Osmond had achieved what most people spend a lifetime chasing. In 1973, her single Paper Roses became a crossover hit, topping the country charts and entering the pop top 5. She was no longer simply Donny Osmond's little sister. She was a star in her own right. Yet this early fame came with a price. While her peers navigated school, friendships, and first crushes, Marie navigated contracts, tours, and the relentless demands of the entertainment industry. Teenagers she should have socialized with were replaced by producers and managers decades older. Academic life was largely absent, replaced with long hours in recording studios and rehearsal halls. The foundations of a normal adolescence, freedom, choice, and self-discovery, were denied. Instead, Marie was molded into a star, her identity intertwined with an image the world demanded she maintain. The Donnie and Marie era. In 1976, Marie's career entered a new stratosphere with the premiere of The Donnie and Marie Show on ABC. The sibling duo's wholesome charm captivated the nation, turning them into household names. Week after week, millions tuned in to watch their polished performances, and merchandise featuring Marie's likeness became ubiquitous. Yet the glittering stage hid the relentless exhaustion behind it. 6-day work weeks, live tapings, concert tours, and promotional appearances left little time for rest or personal reflection. Every move was scrutinized, every outfit critiqued. The pressure to appear perfect weighed heavily. Even as a teenager, Marie internalized the message that her value depended on her appearance and performance. Behind the smiles and choreography, she was struggling to maintain an impossible standard imposed by both industry and faith, a struggle that would follow her into adulthood. Sacrificing youth for fame. By the time The Donnie and Marie Show ended in 1979, Marie had accomplished more than most could dream of, yet she had given up something far more valuable: her youth. She had performed for presidents, sold millions of records, and become an icon. But the life of constant scrutiny, expectation, and perfection left emotional scars. She had grown up performing because she was required to, not because she chose it. Sleep, privacy, and personal freedom were luxuries she had never known. Even at 20, the pressure of fame and the weight of public expectation felt insurmountable. For Marie, the gap between the persona the public adored and the person she was privately became increasingly stark. Her childhood had been a performance. Now adulthood required navigating fame, marriage, and the public's unrelenting gaze. Marriage and the pressure of perfection. In 1982, Marie married Stephen Craig, her first husband, hoping to embrace a life she had been taught to prioritize: wife and mother. At 22, she radiated youth and optimism, but the marriage crumbled within 3 years. Divorce carried not only personal pain but public judgment. In her culture, marriage was sacred, and failure felt like a reflection of her worth. Shortly after, she married Brian Blosel, with whom she built a family of 7 children, 2 biological and 5 adopted. While it appeared idyllic, the demands of parenting, career, and public life created immense strain. Marie faced the impossible task of being perfect in all roles simultaneously: entertainer, mother, wife, and Mormon woman. Every misstep felt amplified, every flaw magnified. Beneath the surface, the cracks deepened, foreshadowing challenges that would test her resilience in ways fame had never prepared her for. Building an empire. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Marie expanded her career far beyond performing. She released albums, starred in specials, and launched a porcelain doll business, eventually generating over $100 million in revenue. She became more than a singer or actress. She became a brand. Yet with success came additional pressures. Marie balanced recording sessions, television appearances, and public engagements with raising 8 children, often operating on minimal sleep. The expectation to maintain her flawless public image was relentless. She internalized criticism of her appearance and constantly faced judgments about her weight, performance, and personal life. The facade of perfection demanded constant maintenance. Despite immense success, Marie's private life was a battlefield of exhaustion, emotional strain, and hidden turmoil, all unseen by the millions who admired her. Motherhood and postpartum darkness. In 1999, Marie experienced one of her most profound challenges with the birth of her 7th child, Matthew. What should have been a joyous milestone became the start of a battle with postpartum depression. Despite appearances of radiant joy, Marie felt nothing but emptiness. The inability to bond with her newborn left her riddled with guilt and fear, intensified by her upbringing and faith, which emphasized motherhood as a sacred duty. She considered the unthinkable, standing at the top of the stairs, imagining relief in non-existence. Eventually, she sought help through therapy and medication, learning that postpartum depression is an illness, not a moral failure. Her journey to recovery was painstaking, but it became a turning point, leading her to confront decades of pressure, internalized expectations, and unacknowledged pain. Advocacy and sharing. Her story. After her own experience with postpartum depression, Marie chose to speak openly about mental health. She released Behind the Smile, My Journey Out of Postpartum Depression in 2001, exposing her struggles to the public. The response was mixed. Some criticized her, others dismissed her pain, but countless women reached out, sharing their own silent battles. This marked the beginning of her advocacy work. She partnered with organizations like the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention to support mothers, families, and teens. Marie became a voice for maternal mental health, demonstrating that asking for help is an act of courage. Her willingness to confront stigma transformed personal suffering into a source of hope and empowerment for countless individuals struggling in silence. Coping with tragedy. In 2010, Marie's son Michael passed away, a devastating loss that expanded her advocacy to suicide prevention. She has since raised awareness about mental health in young people, funded crisis hotlines, and promoted education on recognizing warning signs. Michael's death remains a source of grief, yet Marie uses it to give permission for others to grieve openly. She shares his story, the note he left, and the guilt she carried, helping families understand the importance of compassion, intervention, and honest conversations about mental health. In doing so, Marie transforms personal tragedy into a platform for meaningful change, showing that even profound loss can inspire action that saves lives and fosters hope for others facing similar struggles. Lessons in self-acceptance. Beyond advocacy, Marie has embraced a message of self-acceptance. After decades of struggling with eating disorders and body image, she encourages women to reject unrealistic standards of beauty. She openly reflects on the time she wasted hating herself and urges future generations to prioritize health, self-love, and authenticity over societal perfection. Marie's candidness about her imperfections, physical, emotional, and spiritual, offers an alternative to the unattainable ideals she once represented. By sharing the wisdom of her scars, she redefines strength as the courage to persist despite hardship, not as the absence of struggle. In her life, survival itself becomes a form of triumph, illustrating the value of resilience and honest self-reflection. Family and the gift of vulnerability. Marie's relationships with her children have evolved with time and experience. She no longer hides vulnerability but embraces it as a teaching tool. Her children have seen her at her lowest points and love her unconditionally, demonstrating that authenticity fosters connection. Marie keeps Michael's memory alive through stories, photos, and conversations about mental health, instilling understanding and compassion in her grandchildren. While she acknowledges she cannot shield them from pain, she models resilience, showing that suffering does not dictate the outcome of one's life. Through her family, she has learned that imperfection can strengthen bonds, and that genuine love and guidance come from presence, empathy, and openness, rather than performance or perfection. The wisdom of scars. Marie Osmond's life is marked by visible and invisible scars. Each represents a battle survived and a lesson learned. She reflects that strength does not come from never breaking, but from choosing to continue despite hardship. The public image of flawless success was a mask. Real life demanded vulnerability, imperfection, and courage. By embracing these realities, Marie discovered peace, fleeting, imperfect, but meaningful. She no longer defines herself by external expectations or societal pressures. Her scars have become symbols of resilience and authenticity. Through her journey, she communicates that survival is not passive. It is active, demanding effort, honesty, and the courage to rise after every fall. Marie's story is an enduring testament to human strength. Conclusion. Rising Through Adversity. Marie Osmond's story is not a fairy tale of unbroken success or effortless perfection. It is the chronicle of a woman shaped by impossible standards, relentless scrutiny, and profound personal loss. Through postpartum depression, multiple marriages, motherhood, and the death of a child, she has faced challenges that would overwhelm most. Yet Marie has chosen survival over despair, authenticity over perfection, and advocacy over silence. She teaches that strength emerges from vulnerability, that asking for help is courageous, and that scars are proof of battles endured. Above all, her life demonstrates that resilience is the ultimate legacy, not in never falling, but in rising each time we do, imperfect, human, and unbroken.